Afia Rosen. Say quickly, bruh. None for you. Walaikum salam.
That Allah grant him and all people in Dergahi strength to keep inspiring serving.
Astaghfirullah.
The question is,
Inshallah.
what is the secret and wisdom behind serving creation, especially feeding the poor?
Because in reality, all of us are poor. In the eyes of the prophets and the eyes of Haqq, everything is poor. Everything is in need. From who? Al-Ghani, Al-Razaq. Sooner man realizes that he is poor, the better his relationship with this world and with Allah will be. So that time, he will only ask from Allah. What are we in need of? Everything. You don't understand? Then don't breathe for 1 minute. You will understand. You still don't understand? Then wait for the next headache to reach to you. You understand how weak and how in need you are. Which is why the tariqat people, on top of being dervishes, they're also known as what? Fakir. This is not according to how much money you have or you don't have. This is knowing that you are helpless and you are poor and you are in need of Allah's mercy. Because the money or the poverty is not going to give you anything if you don't have Allah's blessing. There are people who are poor and they hate being poor. It's not a blessing to them. There are people who are poor, they don't have anything, and they're happy with Allah and they're happy with everything. Blessing reaches to them. There are people who are rich, but they say this doesn't belong to me. Everything belongs to Allah. Like who? Like Siddiqul Akbar. 1400 years continuing up to today. Not just poor. That's why in the Ottoman Empire, they say everyone is a kul. Everyone is a slave. Everyone is a servant. To who? To the Sultan. And the Sultan, he is a servant of Allah. That's why Yaus Sultan Selim Han, when he became the first Khalifa, as a sign that he is a servant, but in his manners, he's not saying, I'm a servant of Allah. He says, I'm a servant of the Prophet. And he pierced his ear. Piercing of the ear in the old days is showing that you are, like an animal. You pierce your ear is a sign that you're a slave. That's a big sign of today's people, no? They want to pierce everywhere. But are they slaves to Allah, servants to Allah? No, to their ego. A sign they're slaves to their ego. So you're asking me the question, what is the secret of feeding the poor? Because Allah loves the poor. Because Allah wants to show His generosity and His mercy always. And the poor and the Prophet ﷺ, on the day of judgment, how close are they going to be? Like this. Close. Every prophet that comes, first thing they say, feed the poor, take care of their rights. Feed the orphans, take care of their rights. The widows. Before they get into any other, they say you have to now take care of the most helpless ones. Because Allah, He takes care of everything and He hears everything and He provides for everything. So you want to be a servant to Allah, you want to be a good one, then follow this sunnah. In fact, it is a sign that your faith is not too much if you are full and your neighbor is hungry. It is forbidden also for you to be full and your servant is hungry. Of course, today people are leaving all these sunnahs and traditions. They concentrate on memorizing Quran. They concentrate their kids just to memorize Quran, but akhlaq, finish. They don't teach them. In fact, they say memorize Quran so you can brag to everyone that you see, I have someone who is a hafiz. Anything you do with proudness, it is cancelled. It is corrupted. You want to imitate what Allah is doing, feed the poor. You do wrong things. People forget about this part. Huh? It used to be once upon a time you do wrong things. And people say, I have to pay for it. You do wrong things in Islam, people pay for it. Not like today, say, no, I don't have to pay. Astaghfirullah, it's finished. People will. They say, I miss one day of Ramadan. They don't just say Astaghfirullah. There is always a payment. And the Shariat is showing, it is very specific what you should do. And all of it always involves feeding the poor. Or freeing a slave. How beautiful it is. Always be in need, Allah will always give you. If you are in need and you are giving shukr, Allah will always increase it. Don't just complain to say, I want, but no. Whatever you have for a believer, it doesn't belong to you, it is a trust. And you always have to share. Everything good, you always have to share. Don't share your problems, please. People like to share their problems, but the happiness, they don't share. May Allah forgive me and bless you, inshallah. Al-Fatiha. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. All right. Any other questions? Anyone else? Say.
How important is it to take mashwara with your shaykh or ustad, and what are the consequences if one goes against the mashwara?
Huh? Of course, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There is an Arabic proverb that says, the one who consults, he never fails. He never fails. If you consult, you never fail. Meshwara is not just a meeting. You take consultation. Who are you consulting with? Your buddy? Or your mother? Or your best friend? You're consulting with your sheikh. Who is that sheikh? When we consult with Shaykh Effendi, who are we consulting with? A friend of Allah. So whatever that he gives us is not an opinion. He's not thinking about it. He's taking it from higher stations to know what is the will of Allah and the will of the heavens, what is good for you, dunya and akhirat, and he gives. So how important it is if you have a sheikh to consult? Oh. If you have a prophet in front of you, alayhi salatu wassalam, don't you always want to be with him? If you cannot physically be with him, then be busy with what he's busy with. That is a sign that that one has the same characteristics as a Sahabi. Then if you're going to be busy with what he's busy with, and you want to do everything properly, then you will consult. Not to consult to say, what should I have for dinner tonight, a chicken or a fish? Not that kind of consultation. But consulting to see, am I going in the Sirat al-Mustaqim, going straight, or am I taking a deviation? How is my... People go to doctor to check blood pressure. this pressure, that pressure. Consult with your Shaykh to see what is it that I have to do. In our way, we don't really have to. The Shaykh is just going to give it in the sohbat, no? You take what is in for you. It's a bit more adult, what is for you. Then when you're really stuck with something, especially 3 things in the Naqshbandi way: divorce, marriage, divorce, and travel. You need to consult. That time it is farz. But with everything else, the way that you consult is not just to ask. These days people don't even ask, they just text. But the way to consult is also knowing, okay, Shaykh Effendi, what he says about this matter. There's a time you are going to go back into the sohbats, going to understand, going to digest everything, and the answer is already there. If the answer is not there, then you may ask directly. But the fact that you are going and trying to remember the sohbats, this is already consulting, because at a spiritual level, you're already trying to connect with your Shaykh. This is important. You are remembering. Understand? Inshallah, we understand. And when you get the consultation, when you get the advice from your Shaykh, it is not good to go against it. He is not going to force you. He says, as you like. You do it like this or like that. But if you consult and then he says, this is better if it's like this, but you decide to go against it, then the, should we say, the results are not going to be so good. You understand? وَمِنَ اللَّهُ تَوْفِيقٍ يَا Fatiha. Amin. It's much is enough. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Where's your baby food? You finish? Is that good, huh? Everyone eat except for that one. He's wearing face mask.
كل يوم 1000 مرة اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد ملء 7 بحارك وصل على سيدنا محمد زنة 7 بحارك مما حملت وأقلت من قدرتك الله